Hey, today I'm talking about 3 Chuck Norris films from the 70s. And the names of those 3 films are Breaker Breaker, Good Guys Wear Black, and A Force of One. The first up is Breaker Breaker. This is a 1977. The title refers to like truck driving, which there is in this. He's a truck driver, but then like his younger brother gets kidnapped by this town, maybe murdered by them, who knows? And most of the movie has nothing to do with semis, but spoilers, the end has a great, incredible scene with a lot of trucks doing some good stuff. So I would kind of criticize this movie for this title, but you know, it really makes up for it by the end. So like, yeah, no, it's fine. The title works, it works. So yeah, this movie's really interesting. It's basically Chuck Norris against this small town. And I think had I watched this even just a few years ago, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. But there's just something about it that really clicked with me this time. And it has to do with the premise. So like the town in this film, it's like Texas City. This group of people got together to make this city, and they have their own judge who's the town founder and basically the leader of this kind of cult like people. He's also a drunk, and the police force is just his buddies, and they do whatever he says, and then like they just like intentionally bring people in to just charge them with stuff and then take their things, and that's all they're doing. And like 5 years ago, I would have been like, this movie is so unrealistic. There's no way this town could ever exist. This town 100% exists in real life. Definitely, without a doubt. Towns like this exist all over the place in the United States. So like, I connected with the premise. I think it's a fun, interesting premise. I think they explored it in a lot of interesting ways. There was some really good action. There was one really good chase scene like halfway through the movie that I really liked, and the end was a lot of fun. It's in the liked category, and I would definitely recommend it. I wanted to like it more, but I couldn't just because it's a bit boring and just kind of like pacing's not great and the acting's not great, but like not in like a fun dumb way. Though I do feel that like if I was like drinking with some friends, I potentially could have liked this movie more. And honestly, that's how I'd recommend it. It's a silly fun movie with I think an honestly really good premise that like, yeah, it would be a good like fun party movie to watch. So yes, it's a good fun time. Definitely recommend. Next up is Good Guys Wear Black. How do I describe this movie? It's boring, that's for sure. That's the main thing. I don't think the premise is that bad. It's just kind of a mess. Because it's about during the Vietnam War, Chuck Norris was part of this special task force that was sent to go rescue a bunch of POWs right at the end of the war, but then turns out they were actually set up. But they all survived. Years go by, it's present day, and now suddenly the survivors of that event are getting assassinated. And so Chuck Norris has to figure out what's going on, who set him up and all this stuff, and also who's this weird lady who suddenly showed up. Ooh. Just asking all these questions you shouldn't know. And like, it's definitely a ridiculous plot, but I don't think it's bad. I don't think that's bad. I think it's kind of just like everything, like it's just really bad acting, really bad pacing. It looks really nice though. Like the cinematography in this is legit. Like, oh god, I forget exactly what the scene is, but like near the beginning there's like 3 of them talking in a Jeep, and like the camera does this like nice pushed in as they were talking. It was like nice fluid movement, and it made the scene more dramatic, even though it wasn't like that dramatic of a scene. It added a nice layer to it. And then like there was also like a nice, really nice crane shot. I forget what it was, but I was just like, dang, they put a lot of effort into the cinematography of this. So kudos to that guy. This is his name. Good job, buddy. You did good. Everything else though is not good. Like there's one point where like Chuck Norris is talking to a dude who's standing on a locomotive, and the guy gets shot and falls down. We don't see where the shot came from, which is fine. But the issue is Chuck Norris's character doesn't even for a second look around or like be scared by the fact that someone right in front of him just got shot. Like it isn't even like a cool tough guy thing because he reacts to other stuff later. It's just like, just imagine someone's in front of you, they get shot, and what do? You go like, oh, and then you look at the woman who's with you and it's like, this was your fault. And it's like, how is it her fault? She was right here with you. She clearly doesn't have a gun. Also, you could be getting shot right now any moment, which I'm also confused why he wasn't shot at, because they did want him dead too. I I don't know. So yeah, anyway, if you couldn't tell, I really didn't care for this movie. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just boring. I was hoping for dumb fun, but it was just kind of dumb, and that's about it. The cinematography is good. So if you just want to watch something that looks kind of pretty, I probably still wouldn't recommend it now. And lastly is A Force of One. This is a 1979 film, and the basic premise is, I'm just going to read from IMDb. When the detectives of an undercover police unit are being mysteriously killed by a martial artist, a professional kickboxer is hired to assist them. And then eventually just like take care of everything. He's the Force of One, which I didn't gather that that's what the title meant until just now. Like, he is the Force of One, but like he's not, because everyone helps him and it's a group effort. Like, he does like take down the bad guy in the end by himself, but like he didn't get there by himself. He wasn't alone. Okay. This movie's mostly just boring. That's my main issue with it. It's definitely a silly plot. Like, the professional kickboxer is meant to train all of these detectives, but it's like, why? There's a reason, but that's not really a reason. And they even point out in the movie, like, they're already trained and shit. And then like I don't know. It's just boring. And like the fight scenes aren't even that good. Like, that's what I was kind of hoping for. Like, even if it was really dumb, I was like, it's probably gonna be some good action. Nah, not really. Like, he is a kickboxer, and like there's a couple kickboxing scenes in the ring, but like, I don't know, it looks like they're just pulling punches for the most part, so it wasn't that fun for me. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. It's just not a well-made film. It's just boring and kind of exactly what you'd expect, but I'm still disappointed. I was hoping for more. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Breaker sitting at number 6 in the liked category. And then after that is Good Guys Wear Black sitting at number 8 in the meh category. I kind of thought I put it in the didn't like category. Turns out I didn't. They're not the worst. I do think all the premises are fine. Albeit silly, but fine. And then bringing up the rear is A Force of One. Again, surprisingly not in the didn't like category. It's actually in the meh category. Anyway, this is out of a total of 9 old movies so far this year.